let's say family gatherings, right? I'm sure everyone's family has that one person, right? Where people kind of tiptoe around. Maybe they got bad temper, they got this, or they damn drama, or just very needy, but it's always like, okay, don't say this because someone will be upset.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that.
Oh, is it?
I hate that shit. But
why are you that person at the party?
I mean, I don't think I am. I don't.
No, I just wouldn't go out and declare that
You're not the
I'm not the person. I think if you are going around declaring that you're not the person, you could potentially be that person.
Fair point lah.
Going around saying, "Oh, you know that guy, you know that guy," and maybe you are that guy.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man. Yeah. Did you keep track of the Emmys? I think it just happened yesterday, right?
No.
No.
Don't really bother with this entertainment. I mean, this award shows anymore.
Just tired of them.
I mean, I think the big transition for me was like the Will Smith slap. And how people were still clapping for him after he did that and all. Kind of shows you that, the award shows there are no morals in that place. Yeah.
It's just a parade.
It is right. They don't dare to. They're always talking about calling out politicians or that. Then something happens right in front of them and the show just goes on,
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of hypocritical. So I think it lost all relevance after that. Yeah.
Then if Yalabat is nominated for an Emmy award,
is there a podcast category?
Maybe in future.
Oh, if they invite us, then I'll reconsider. I'll give it a chance. All right.
Yeah, man.
Why? You're very obsessed with it, is it?
No,
but you surprisingly, I think you are quite a whore for like pop culture stuff like.
Thanks for calling me a whore.
Right?
There are many other words you could have used.
Well,
to be a fan.
A fan.
An aficionado.
No, but there needs to be like a bit of a little bit of bite to it, right?
No, I disagree. I don't think there needs to be bite.
Okay, so you're a fan. You're a fan of.
No, I would say it is part of news, right? So I only found out about Emmys because it was in the news, and I'm curious to also see how things are. But like you, I'm also jaded about the whole thing, But to me, it's just it's something that happens. It's in the field that we are in, which is entertainment and media. So I want to have knowledge of it and just understand what's going on and all that, I wouldn't say I'm a whore, Terrence.
No, but I'm just talking about the celebrity gossip side of things. Surprisingly, a lot of times I hear a lot of these things from you, celebrity gossip.
Again,
stuff.
News. News, yeah.
Taylor Swift dating history on it.
Like recently, the host of Golden Globes, Joe Coy, he was getting a lot of backlash.
Yeah.
So I also want to understand, here's a comedian who got this gig 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
He got a bunch of backlash and how that is seen, how that is taken, and what that reflects of his own comedic chops.
Again, separate issue. I'm talking about gossip.
So then what is gossip? What is gossip?
Who's dating who and these things like that. Yeah. Sometimes I just have this very strong memory that a lot of times I hear of these things from you.
Yeah, again, it's part of the news. It's part of the news cycle. See
there's some deeper philosophical thing about who's dating who that is.
No, Ali Wong, star of Beef. She is now dating Bill Hader, who is one of my comedy heroes.
Yeah.
Who was the creator of Barry.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's also Ali Wong was shat on her husband a lot during her stand-up comedy specials.
I see.
So then I think, maybe was there too much truth to that and all? Terrence, it's all
again, news.
The human condition.
As Harry says, again, news.
The human
Taylor
condition.
Swift, who's she dating? News.
Yeah, because how the news reacts to how and who she's dating is also reflective of media in general. It's news, Terrence.
Correct.
Yeah, it's news. Of course, I don't read 20-page articles about Taylor Swift's dating history, but it's just something that's out there, something that revolves around her and pop culture. So why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Again, I wouldn't say I'm a whore.
Yeah, okay.
Right? If someone likes sushi, would you call them a whore for sushi?
Okay can.
That's what are you a whore of, Terrence?
I'm a horror of
tech gadgets.
Gadgets, Like I do partake in watching a lot of videos about them, even though I use less and less of them, and I'm still a Luddite when it comes to like Simply Go or EasyLink and all, as we talked about, right? But I just like that new stuff.
And you'd be fine if I call you a whore for tech gadgets.
I'm okay. I'm not sensitive about it,
See,
it's just a term of endearment about it,
No, because the way you said it is the thing that was attached to it. The way you said it, Terrence. For those listening, you go on YouTube, you see Terrence's face when he said the word whore.
Yeah, that's the thing, I don't know why. Wow, someone stepped off the wrong side of bed and everything. So angry about it, But thank you for the justification about what is news and what's not. It makes sense. Okay.
It makes sense. It's part of news, man. It's part of news.
Yeah. Okay. Can.
Yeah,
Can. No harm. I mean, yeah. Taylor Swift, as much as we shit on her, Time person
she's a global phenomenon. Man.
And she's coming to Singapore in a few, is it months or weeks?
March.
Okay.
Next week is Coldplay.
Coldplay. Anything about Chris Martin that you want to update about or what?
Oh, so Coldplay actually released a green report. Oh. And apparently their whole tour is carbon neutral. And I was like, fuck, a band launched that. I mean, it's kind of cool. But I mean, then they talked about how in certain stadiums and all, they have this thing that they put below the audience so that their actions and all power some of the equipment and all. I don't know how true that is, but they are the first band ever to release a sustainability report, not a green report.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, this is interesting, right, Terrence?
Yeah. So there's news. There's news.
But you could argue also some people, okay, I wouldn't say that's gossip. I don't know who the hell Chris Martin is dating now, whether he's even married or not. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, there's news. Yeah. So there was one little nugget of info for Coldplay.
There you go. Again, see my point exactly. Like I wouldn't have known this at all. If you didn't bring it.
Yeah, but you can portray it in a positive way, Terrence.
Okay. Yeah, he's a very he's
sommelier.
A fan.
He's a fan.
Yeah. He's a very casual fan of like celebrity ongoings.
Yes, exactly.
I won't even say gossip. I say ongoings.
Because sometimes it pays to know a lot about stuff happening outside Singapore, right? Which is our first topic also, is not Singapore focused.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Yeah. When we decided, like, let's look outside. Let's stop gazing at our navels for all, right?
Yeah, because we actually decided the topic, but then when we first saw each other in the office, we started talking about this other topic. Then we're like, hey, shit, there's a lot more to say for this.
Why hype from it, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
But before we jump into that, what is the regular spiel, Terrence?
Well, if this is the first time you're listening to us two whores talking.
I'm wondering what the fuck. I thought this was a news podcast. What the fuck is this?
It is. Well, if it's the first time you're listening to us talking, welcome. And please do follow, subscribe. I know majority of people who have been shown our videos recently are not subscribers, just based on stats. So it will really help if you subscribe because, personally, one of the things I want to see happen this year is for Yalla But to get that beautiful YouTube 100k subscriber button.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one from Ministry of Funny. If you can see in Harish's background.
Behind me.
Yeah. Harish, you just point out so that.
So it's here. If you're on YouTube, good reason to go to YouTube. That's our 100k subscriber button.
And if you look at that, that's the old version as well. It's not even the newer, more updated one that's all metal and all. Ours was like, it comes in a photo frame and all.
Yeah.
But it'd be nice if Yalla But, could somehow hit that. And we don't get any money for it. You just get like, this is just a form of recognition. It's like winning a trophy at the sports day kind of thing.
This coming from someone who say he doesn't care about Emmys and Academy Awards. This one different.
Different. Yeah. It's your own effort. It's linked to your own.
But you can argue that for Emmy and Academy as well.
It's your effort.
But there's no voting. This one is a number.
It's a number. Yeah.
No one votes whether you should get this, you should get that. You don't need to curry favor or wayang.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is democratic. And everyone can play a part.
Yeah. No Harvey Weinsteins, guarding the gates or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is like pure numbers. Anyone, you listening, can help us to achieve that.
Yeah. We're at 5k now. So we've got 95k to get.
We're not at 5k yet. We're still sub 5k.
Almost at 5k. At 5k.
So we're still a long way to go. But let's push for that.
Yeah. So subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media, and if you want to work with us, you can always reach out to us at contact@ministryofffunny.com.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so
what is that one big topic that we want to talk about?
It is the news that one of the first kind of election related stuff in the US, presidential election related stuff, has completed. It was the Iowa caucuses And the big winner that came away is Trump, who won 51% of the caucuses.
Yeah.
I've heard the word caucuses before today, but I never really understood what the hell that means. It sounds like a sore part of your body.
Or cactus.
Yeah, or callus.
Callus.
It's like a mix between the two.
Correct.
But like, did you have an understanding before today about what the caucus is, what primaries are, and all?
Not the exact definition, but I'm sure you've done some reading, right?
I've tried to understand it. So basically, the presidential campaign trail starts like a year before the presidential election, which is November 2024. It happens on the first Tuesday of every of November. So this year, the candidates have started their trail, and from what I understand, okay, this caucus, it is the first caucus of the year, and the whole purpose of this is to decide which delegates get sent to the national convention that happens, I think, in April or middle of the year, where the Democrats and the Republicans both decide their presidential candidate.
Yeah.
So I think there are 2,400 delegates there. So this one was to assign like 40 delegates from Iowa. And I was thinking, okay, so it's like a mini election. But a caucus is different from a primary election. Both of which can happen for both Republicans or Democrats. This one is called a caucus because, okay, from what I understand, a caucus, right? People come together, they actually discuss, and then they vote who they want their party candidate to be, and then the delegates are assigned there. So they actually discuss. I think traditionally, right, they would vote by people going to one corner of the place, and for one candidate, another candidate go, and they actually try and like convince each other to come over and all that.
I see.
With the end goal of deciding one candidate. For primary elections, it is just a closed vote, secret vote, and there's a number at the end.
I see.
So this is traditionally, Iowa caucuses are the first caucuses of the year.
And the next ones can be like primaries. Rather than caucuses.
I think it depends on the state.
New Hampshire, I think, will be a primary.
Yeah.
But the larger significance of this is like essentially the kicking off of the presidential campaign, if anything.
Yeah, right? Correct. And it's Republican only.
Yeah. That means one party, the more conservative, so-called right side, right-leaning side.
Because in the US, you actually register as Democrat or Republican. And you can only vote in, I think, one primary or one caucus. So you can't go to every state and just register. So this one, I think you had to register as a Republican and then you vote.
Yeah.
So then it is within the Republican Party, how many people actually favor Trump versus the other candidates. Did you understand anything else that I missed out?
No, I think it covered it quite well.
Yeah, so it's the first step of the process, and then the whole election stuff will happen at the end of the year. But what made you want to talk about this?
I think it's just the reality that where it's almost like 2016 all over again when Trump basically came to the forefront, right?
Yeah.
And when he started off in 2015 campaigning in 2015 and all, it was everyone laughed it off as a joke, this reality TV star, The Apprentice, and everything. There's no way that he could win the Republican nomination, and then bit by bit, I think in Iowa, in fact, he lost or at least he wasn't the front runner in the last election for Iowa. It was Ted Cruz, right?
Yeah.
But he turned it around, and he essentially started, I believe, that with that line about Mexicans, they're talking about Mexicans being rapists and everything.
That was like early on in the trail.
I remember that was when people started to wow, this guy, what the hell is he saying?
He's a joke. He's a joke.
Yeah. Because he was talking about other people from other countries already. He wasn't even talking about stuff going on in America. So that's when people are wow, this guy, the stuff he's saying, there's no way that he could become president, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way that he could lose to someone as decorated and as experienced as Hillary Clinton, right? And it just snowballed until everyone's jaws dropped when he was finally elected, right?
Because I remember even like a few weeks before the election, people were still like, this is not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
I think even SNL parodied a skit where Hillary Clinton and all were just, just complacent and there's no way, because he was still saying stupid shit all the way.
Yeah. And then he was appearing on Jimmy Fallon and getting his hair touzled by Jimmy Fallon. And people Yeah, obviously he's there just for the publicity. He just wants the PR from this experience.
Then he had the secret tape also of him talking about, grabbing someone by the certain part of their body.
Yeah. So, And then, it's just a reality check that all these years later, it seems like he's still number one in the Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
And maybe even in a stronger position than before.
Yeah, because, in overall, right, out of all the candidates, he got 51% of the vote in Iowa.
Yeah.
With DeSantis coming second and Nikki Haley coming third.
Yeah.
But I think just, forget about the stats. The main thing is that, like what you said, he improved across Iowa. He did better in places that he was weaker in 2016.
Yeah.
Of course, there is a trend of him gaining a lot more ground in more of the rural areas compared to suburban and urban.
Yeah.
And I think the only places he didn't win were when there's a university there.
Yeah.
And there are more people
young people
with degrees.
Yeah.
But even in those, he got more of a vote now than he did previously. And this is not just coming with the starting point that last time he was a reality TV star, business mogul. Now, if you look at what's on his plate, he's got, I don't know how many charges against him.
Yeah, 91, I believe.
Yeah, 91, and he's on trial. Certain trials are not even started yet.
Yeah.
So in business, he faces 34 felony charges. Then he faces other charges about, the Capitol Hill riots,
Yeah.
But somehow, he's stronger than ever.
Yeah, he's a cockroach. He'll never go away, right?
Yeah, and now, you say you've been watching clips of him talking recently, right?
Yeah, and I'm just reminded of, in some crazy way, right? I'm reminded of, the whole crazy entertainment aspect that he brings to politics, right? Anyway, it ties in nicely what we discussed earlier about celebrity gossip and all these things. Remember for those years how much attention was on every single speech or every single appearance that Trump made, whether at international meetings or how he shook hands with world leaders and how he leaned forward in his shoes and things like that. And him, coming to Singapore and meeting Kim Jong-un and everything.
Yeah.
We haven't had that for years already, right?
Yeah.
Like Biden or even Kamala Harris, I barely even remember the name of the VP and everything, right?
Yeah, you have to take a pause.
They take a pause. And they all came to, Kamala Harris was in Singapore and everything, but you barely hear a peep about her. Biden also, no one's really scrutinizing him internationally that much.
Yeah.
And if anything, we're more focused on all the unrest that has happened in the world since, right? So, I'm just reminded, wow, those crazy reality TV days of the Trump presidency are back. And it was in full force when he was giving his victory speech. He was calling the other candidates like Ron DeSantis. He calls him Ron the Sanctimonious, names like that. He was mocking, the people who I think Chris Christie, another candidate who dropped out beforehand and all that. He just the usual shtick, just mocking everyone and just rambling on about how everything's great and how it's awesome and how, even to his tribute to his mother-in-law, which was really strange, So we're back to those days again. That's what I'm going to see. I think this is what we're going to see for the next year or so until the elections.
Because I think it's easy to forget that the elections are happening this November.
Yeah.
But when I saw this, I was like, oh shit, because over the past few months, you hear he's on trial. I think recently there were a few states that prevented him from running or having caucuses or even primaries. I don't know whether that's sorted out yet, but it was, I think broadly there were a few states that said, okay, no, you are ineligible to run. But that was at a state level.
Yeah.
And then they brought it up to the Supreme Court and now it's still being decided. But this caucus has happened. He's won 51%.
Yeah.
He won 98 out of the 99 counties.
Yeah.
So it just feels like, oh shit. Iowa traditionally is quite conservative. But it just looks like, and then you step away and then you look at all the, what you say, right, the unrest in the world. It really feels like the US right now, just as a layperson looking at it, it feels like it's a lot weaker than it used to be.
Yeah.
Of course, politics-wise, we don't know what happens behind closed doors and all the longest-term stuff. But just the impression is almost like the monitor of the class now, right?
Yeah.
It's like this nice guy who, you know, doesn't want to offend everyone and is a bit confused, meme worthy. Whereas Trump was the guy, you might not like him, but he felt like he had a stronger fist.
I mean, that's the narrative that I think that a lot of the conservatives are pushing for, right? That Trump was a strongman president compared to what Biden is right now, right? Allowing a lot of these conflicts to take place around the world and not taking a very tough stand against it, right? And I mean, we don't have the stats and the facts to back it up yet, right? So I think Trump is jumping on that bandwagon, and really like he's, you know, basically like positioning Joe Biden as ineffective, you know, calling him Dementia Joe and things like that, and really like openly mocking the way he looks confused when getting off stage and the way he walks and things like that. He was doing caricatures of Joe Biden in one recent speech as well. So yeah, they're really doubling down on exactly what you say, all this perception that you know, whatever you want to say about Trump, he's not as ineffective as Joe Biden. And what I was reading on the New York Times recently was they're saying that it seems like the Democratic Party is leaning on like the fact that maybe the best chance for Joe Biden is actually to face against Trump, to actually have faced Trump, because he's beaten Trump once before, right? And so there's a playbook to try and beat Trump, right? So that might be what they are actually angling for, and that's why rather than that, you know, you haven't really heard much attacks against Trump at this point, right? Because they would rather have Trump as the opponent versus like someone else like Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis. So that's what the people are speculating.
Because who are the other Democratic candidates besides Biden? When I heard that he's likely to be running in November, I was like, oh shit, really? There's no other candidates?
But I mean, being the incumbent president probably puts you at within the party or so. It's kind of like you gotta stand behind the guy that you have right now, right?
I guess
it might be your best chance. Although Biden is now 81 years old.
Oh fuck!
Trump is 77. So these guys,
oh my god,
are really freaking old. So like if like Nikki Haley, the one who was the runner up in Iowa, she's 51.
Yeah.
So if she ran against Biden, there's something to argue about, like the generational gap, right?
These people.
Yeah. So Trump and Biden actually, I mean, they're both like in their late 70s,
must end the live debates by like 8 p.m. so they can go sleep.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It seems like I'm not really sure about the strategy from the Democratic Party, in the sense of whether Trump in 2020 was different from Trump in 2024. I don't know, what's your perception of it? Like, just everything you know about Trump right now.
I mean, like, I've been just like haven't been diving deep into it, but up till this point. But I think the perception is that I think he's more emboldened.
Yeah.
Because for everything that he did, okay, politics aside, just the perception, it feels like, wow, this guy can't do no wrong. And the more the authorities and the law clamps down on him, the stronger support he gets amongst his like supporters.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's the same narrative also, right? Everybody's out to get him. It's a witch hunt.
Yeah.
You know, and he has said it so many times. And for even to understand how caucuses and elections and the Senate and representative is so fucking confusing. If you're someone in the US and maybe you haven't dug deep enough to understand what exactly he did wrong, he's like the underdog, you know?
Yeah.
He plays the victim and wow, it's scary, man.
Yeah.
But then why do you think it matters to us? We are in Singapore.
I mean, but look at even what happened recently with the Taiwan election, right?
Yeah.
And Singapore went to congratulate the new Taiwanese president and then got a rebuke from China, right? And you know what Singapore's stance always is, we always have to sort of find the middle ground between, our relationship with the US and our relationship with China, right?
Yeah.
And if anything, it's getting harder and harder to thread that line, right? And I think with Trump becoming president of the US, I think one thing that is very certain, things become much more volatile when Trump is the president, right? Because there's even rumors that, he's even openly talked about retribution against the people who screwed him over since the last election, right? And for example, like his own Vice President Mike Pence, right? Like who has come out and really said more publicly, things about Trump, right? So yeah, I mean, you really don't know with Trump. He's really like a loose cannon, and even for anyone else that deciding, how to toe the line between the relationship with US and relationship with China, I think the presidency matters a lot, lah.
I think the best analogy I can think of is like, let's say family gatherings, right? I'm sure everyone's family has that one person, right? Where people kind of tiptoe around. Maybe they got bad temper, they got this, or they damn drama, or just very needy, but it's always like, okay, don't say this because someone will be upset.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate that.
Oh, is it?
I hate that shit. But
why are you that person at the party?
I mean, I don't think I am. I don't
So why do you hate this so much?
Because everyone else has to watch what they say, around this one person who, if he throws a hissy fit or she throws a hissy fit, wow, everybody. But then at the same time, it affects the dynamic of everyone because this person is so volatile. And in some way, that's what I see Trump. Like the nice uncle or the nice cousin where, he's super chill and all. Maybe you let your guard down, you do some stuff, you say something that maybe you don't mean. Maybe you're a bit more upfront with someone else in the family. You're more honest. But around this one person cannot. Everybody must just have dinner and like walk around.
Yeah.
So to me, that's Trump.
I see.
Yeah.
But you're not that person in the family.
I hope not.
If you were, you also probably wouldn't know.
For my family members who listen to this once in a while, please message me if I am that person. I hope not.
Yeah.
Or at least even if I am, right? I also know I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one.
You're not the only one. What do you mean?
No, if I'm one, because I've also noticed others. So if I am one, then there are also others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really hope I'm not. I hope I'm not. But you mean you don't see that in like extended family or anything like that?
I guess if
I'm talking about extended where you get like, it's like geopolitics to a certain extent, You got the superpowers who are like the people who maybe clamp down a bit more, and then you get marrying of all these interracial unions and stuff like that,
No, I just wouldn't go out and declare that I'm not the person. I think if you are going around declaring that you're not the person, you could potentially be that person.
Fair point.
Going around saying, oh, you know that guy, and maybe you are that guy.
Oh yeah, that's true, man. Fuck.
What's the term? You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become
or
the
like
villain.
For every finger that you're pointing at someone,
3 pointing back at you. Yeah.
3 pointing back to you. Yeah, I was gonna say 4, but it's 3.
Yeah. For all you know, you could be that person.
So you saw me bare my soul, and then you're like, I'm not gonna shoot myself in the foot potentially.
Yeah. No, I think it comes with age, You understand that, actually, as normal as you think you are, there's the people's bars for normal are a bit different.
I still stand by what I say.
Exactly. That's what the uncle would say. I still stand by what I say. Yeah. You're young people. You're strawberry generation.
That's true. That's true. That is true. Oh my God. So if anyone who's listening, happens to be in my family, just let's have a chat after this.
This guy like
he got podcast.
He keeps saying omelette. Everyone tells him omelette. He still wants to say omelette. He's not, but he thinks he's not a problem. It's not a problem. He thinks that it's very funny.
No, but that was also in some way related to family or Cindy's, because someone messaged us that day saying they heard another Cindy person on a podcast, and he also said omelette.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's a cultural thing.
Maybe. Okay. So now it's about culture.
Let's
bring in the racial thing. Oh, cannot say anything because it will be a racial thing. Wow, this uncle, I just thought anything and he brings up race. Wow, I cannot take it.
Yeah, we cannot make any racial jokes. We cannot say anything about omelette. Must be like, can you beat the eggs and put it on a pan and fry it?
Cannot criticize him about his love for celebrity gossip and all these things. He get very sensitive.
No, I'm still smiling when I push back against you, Terrence. Do you have another analogy?
For what Trump is right now?
Yeah.
No, not the analogy, but I'm guessing maybe even some listeners and all, because, this predated our podcast and all these things, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to forget how how dystopian everything suddenly felt when Trump won, right? Remember those early days? And then I think it was quite interesting for us because I think when Trump won in like November or something of 2016, was it 2016 or
2016?
And then 2017 was inauguration and all. I think 2017, in that January or something, we had to fly to LA for work, right? And then there was all that talk about, he's shutting down the airport to, certain Muslim countries and things, remember? And it was just like, just basking in that not say basking but like being there when people were so confused about how the administration would turn out. And I'm walking through the LA airport and people are selling Trump toilet paper, your most recently elected president, now they're selling toilet paper of you at the international airport, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a strange time.
Yeah.
So again, we're I think people maybe have forgotten how bizarre that whole era was already. And now it's going to happen again, and maybe with even more intensity.
Yeah. And I think why it matters to Singapore is because, I mean, you just look, there's so much shit going on in the world now, but the bigger thing is that the West, which has traditionally been more powerful, like, feels like there's a lot less respect for them. With the Russia-Ukraine war going on and like still going on, with what's happening in the Middle East, and even recently the Houthi attacks, right? In where Singapore also had to, be part of the 12 countries that said, you know what, we are against this. Previously, like it felt like, everybody, there's this fear of the US's military might and how tough a stance they will take. Feels like that's no longer there.
Yeah.
And then you look at China and Russia getting more and more influential and powerful, and Russia still carrying on despite all the sanctions against their gas, and the European countries like Germany, their sanction against them are now suffering. So you look at it, you're like, oh shit, something's changing. And like, it's not and we are just a little thing. Even today, Shanmugam said small states should unite to call out big powers for violating international law. Which is, I mean, interesting like, because it feels like that watchdog, there's no watchdog anymore. So it's it's entertaining, yes, but also scary
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this will be the last time we talk about
something
that Trump says or does, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Trump for me is the closest I'll ever get to standing next to a US president, I suppose.
Yeah. Because you stood next to him, or you stood next to.
Because his daughter Ivanka Trump went to. I don't know if I told this story in the podcast before.
You have like 17 times.
Yeah. Okay. So it's my Subaru challenge, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So I don't know where, but I'll dig it up. But I have been almost the same distance between you and me. I've been that close to standing next to Trump.
And you say he was quite tall, right?
He's tall. Yeah, he's very tall. And but well, I mean, at that point of time, people looked at him a bit like a celebrity goofball, right? You don't really take him seriously or anything. Little did I know, all those years later, that he'd be a president. 40, he was 44th, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, 45th, I think.
I mean, we also sat across this to people who almost became Singapore president.
That's true. Yeah, that close, right? Who are that close to become president. Who are also seen as like goofballs and everything. At least one of them.
At least one of them.
True.
But I mean, I think it's important that everybody just understand that, okay, this is kicked off. We're going to see a lot of news about this, and also just understand that whatever happens there, it will inevitably trickle down to us.
Yeah, we'll all see the effects of it.
Yeah, but it's not going to be the last time we talk about it.
It won't, yeah. Cool. But yeah, talking about stuff trickling down to us. There's something that, a government initiative that was recently launched, right? That has I guess it's meant to help the general population with the trickle down effects of like very smart people at the top planning certain things and then helping us with the cost of living issues in Singapore, right?
Yeah.
Talking about trickling down, right? So what is this thing that the government initiative that is being launched?
It is more like the relaunch, because I realized from prepping for this, like it was first launched last May 2023.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious, like why, literally you read the article, it sounds like it's being launched. Found a budget meal at a coffee shop, add it to this government crowdsourcing website. So basically, the website is BudgetMealGoWhere. Is the government portal where people can search for budget meals at housing estates, especially coffee shops, and list it there and get it kind of like approved and identified as a public contribution. So it becomes like this database that anyone can contribute to.
Yeah.
And the whole goal, like what you said, is to, I think they even say to help fellow Singaporeans. So you go to the platform, it's like, GoWhere. GoWhere sites, there's a bunch. There's BudgetMealGoWhere, CDC GoWhere, CDC vouchers GoWhere. So you sign up and then you become like there's the Great Budget Meal Hunt.
Yeah.
So it aims to increase the list offerings across the whole of Singapore with the help of all Singaporeans to help fellow citizens find and share more affordable meals. So you have to submit photos and verify the budget meals.
Yeah.
So basically you go there, you sign up, you log in with SingPass. There's no you actually get like points that you can redeem. But they do say a lot it is a volunteer effort.
Yeah.
And if you sign up, you're a Crowdsourcing SG user. So, what are your thoughts, Terence?
Firstly, the site itself is very bare bones, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have much. It's just you input your address and it spits out certain things. But I think they did, there was a level of thought that went into trying to make sure that this is helpful somehow. Like I think, like you look at the FAQs, the first thing they point out is that these must be full meals and not side dishes or kids' portions or half portion meals, right? So the insistence is that it must be a full meal to be able to feed an adult, right?
Yeah.
And the rest of FAQs and all that, the standard stuff. But I think it kind of makes you, in light of all the inflation and all the cost of living debates that are going on now, people are even debating that aspect. What is really considered a full meal these days, right? And even for a site like this, like you can't, it's not like there's an objective measure of what a full meal is, and any hawker, to get on this list could just whip up something that is a much smaller portion or even like have limited quantities. And then they'll be displayed here. But when people actually go to the place and they realize, it's sold out or it's not what it was advertised as, like a full meal, what's going to happen? It's not like you can penalize them either, right?
Yeah.
So people are saying, like, how does this actually even really help the cost of living crisis, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot more debate about it. But how about you? Like, what do you think when you first saw this?
My initial thought was, the crowdsourcing thing, really weird, but actually, like having a website like that would be useful.
Yeah.
My initial thought, and as we've seen in the past, my final thought can be very different from my initial thought, Terence.
Correct.
Just to clarify.
Yeah.
So the more I looked at it, the more I read the context of it, it does feel like a bit, it's almost like sugar coating the real problem in a way that makes it seem like, you volunteer, you're helping your fellow Singaporean to do this, and like it just feels a bit what was the word, masochist almost, in the sense that like making something like this sound more pleasurable than it actually should be. In the sense, like, okay, so just a bit more history. It was launched in May 2023, has had more than 300,000 unique visitors, started with a list of 40 HDB rental coffee shops. Now, apparently, there are 2,500 budget meals across 310 coffee shops. And since May last year, all HDB rental coffee shops have had to offer budget meal options upon their tenancy renewal. And if they will, like, HDB will offer 5% discount, subject to verification that the new budget meals and drinks have been implemented. So, I think this one talks a lot about the consumer's end. But then the more I read about it, my thought was like, okay, the budget meals, I can imagine hawker stalls having to offer a budget meal is also not ideal, right? Because, okay, it is a lower cost option, which means that the margins are lower. Like if it is out their own incentive, because online I was seeing some people post saying that when you go to the super heartlands and you still see meals for like $2 to $3, it's because the demographic there's a lot of old people who maybe can't afford something more expensive. So it's almost the hawker's own initiative. But it's mandated, right? Then it becomes, okay, so already hawker centers are being squeezed, margins are getting tighter. They have to offer a budget meal. And then now there's this website that basically says, hey, this person offering cheap food. You go and fucking take. It's like, you tell one friend, hey, okay, I do this for you, just favor between you and I. Then the friend go and post on Facebook and everybody comes and say, hey, you make a good curry. You can make for me or not?
Can do free, yeah. It's that kind of like oh, you help a friend you do some services, or you help a friend, they give you friend price. Then they go around telling, hey, this guy very good, very cheap. Yeah, you go to him. Then everybody comes to you and they tell them your actual price and they're like, oh, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you told that friend, how come you were so good for that friend? You're so cheap and good for that friend, but not cheap and good for everyone else, huh? You arrogant bastard. Yeah.
Or you think, hey, you mean you're closer to that person than me? How come you can offer him, we cannot? Then you say, no, I can't offer you, but there are 10 other people asking, I can't offer everyone. Then bastard, you bastard.
Yeah.
So that was the feeling I got by the end. I was like,
yeah.
Is this something that should be glamorized to that extent?
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head, that this budget meal thing is mandated for all HDB rental coffee shops that want to renew their tenancy. They have to offer a budget meal option. So it's almost like a bo pian. You just have to do it. And then now suddenly there's this website almost like a food blogger, kind of like Hungry Go Where kind of website recommending, hey, your budget option. Then if a lot of people come and eat your budget option, you'll probably go out of business at some point, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not, I mean, granted, it's your job as a business to make it work, right?
Yeah.
But you are also only doing it because of the parameters of the regulations.
Yeah.
Like if that regulation didn't exist, I think most wouldn't typically think of doing it unless it's like for a more altruistic reason, like you said, older people, appeal to them to eat smaller portions. But yeah, because it's the same authority that is mandating this, and then also suddenly creating this like food blogger Seth Louis competition, it's a bit strange. Yeah.
It's like Terrence, I punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Then I tell Tristen, hey Tristen, Terrence needs help, If you help him, it will be a good thing for everything. But yeah, exactly like what you said. There's one end of the thing that's causing all this. But then, so this way, there was no mention of like how the hawkers are kind of benefiting from this to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Which felt weird.
Yeah.
And I saw on Reddit, someone said, what would be a better app? Getting people to find low rental rates for the coffee shop.
Yes.
Yes. That would be, I was like, hey, fuck. Or like finding lower cost suppliers for your raw materials. But then for the suppliers also, they'll be like, hey, fuck, you tell person, this one I got a cheap thing. Even though it was like a one-on-one relationship. So it just feels like,
Yeah.
But then, okay, let's say if it does help some people. Then, I mean, in the end, like, I don't know how many people would use this. If it does provide some value to make it more affordable for people, isn't that a good thing?
That's also a valid point. There are people who are on the lookout for budget options, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's don't even say old people, but let's say around your office and things like that, right? If these things come up, it could help. So, I guess, it's not a terrible thing, but maybe it's just the positioning of it, right? Where it talks about, it's almost like the onus becomes, maybe because this thing places the onus on the public to contribute and tell people what are the budget options. Whereas as a regulator, by right, you are supposed to enforce that budget meal option for all renewals of tenancies, right? So you already have the information on somewhere, right? You must have the information somewhere, right? So it could just be literally an Excel spreadsheet where you sort, where are the budget meals? Then you create a website just based on that, right? As opposed to having to rely on the public to tell each other where these budget meals are found. Like you as a regulator getting all the applications for rental renewals, you have the information about where the budget meals are, right? Then you can just collect the information and put it out there yourself, not relying on the public to do it.
But I guess, actually, now that you brought that up, I think it's something that maybe they did have a thought. Okay, so this is again speculation.
Yeah.
But internally, maybe there was a thought, we have all this info, why don't we make it public? But it really won't be a good look, right? If they mandate these hawker stalls to provide the cheaper things and then use that and make it public. Here are all the cheap meals.
Yeah.
So what better way to do it?
That's why they call it
the public to do it.
Yeah, it's called the Great Budget Meal Hunt. It's like made into almost like a gamified competition, right?
No, exactly. So if you go to the BudgetMealGoWhere website, you click. It is powered by this thing called CrowdTask SG, right? And CrowdTask SG, it is a Gov Tech platform, which is the tech arm of the government. And essentially is that we are a gamified platform for any government agency in Singapore to crowdsource tasks and engage citizens in a fun and meaningful way. So this makes it even a bit more harder to swallow for me also. Because in some way, it is making a game out of this.
Yeah.
And there are real things that you see. I think there is a one service app or something where you can report things you see.
Correct.
And if you're reporting potholes, that one you can understand. It is to really make you do one action that can make things a lot better for everyone else, and there's no one who's losing out, Whereas in this case, it feels like, I saw some people say it feels like the Hunger Games or Squid Games. Not to that extreme, but it feels a bit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, here is this thing that these people have been done because they're mandated, but you know what? Mandated against their own choice, I assume. But let's make a game out of it.
Yeah.
And that's where it feels like, ooh, shit.
Yeah, because philosophically, I think a lot of people actually feel that hawkers, they're not the bad guys, right?
Yeah.
In terms of rising prices and all.
They are the heroes.
Yeah, if anything, they are being squeezed a lot, right? With the cost of, everything going up, the ingredients and everything.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this, about our hawker culture and everything as well, and how unsustainable it is, right? The prices that they're charging versus what people are paying for, like pasta or pizza in some restaurant and everything, right? Of course, you could argue, if it was such a bad deal, why are people still doing it, right?
Yeah.
But I think the difference is that there are certain things that are mandated of hawkers, right? Like providing budget meals, that almost weaves them into the fabric of this is part of how we feed, the masses as well, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, I think if that's what we understand how the relationship between hawkers and the people and the government and everything is supposed to be, then so there needs to be understanding that, or at least some clearer communication that this is that relationship that hawkers are helping, keep provide budget meals and things like that. Whereas I think like what you said, this gamified site and all kind of positions it almost like a oh, this hawker is providing happens to be providing a budget meal, out of his own kindness and goodness of his heart, right?
Yeah.
And it's up to you, the public, to tell us about which hawkers are doing it out of the goodness of their heart and put it up here, So the whole thing just feels bit tone deaf, I think in light of what the hawker, everyone knows about the dying hawker trade. Everyone knows that at the same time is our UNESCO heritage. UNESCO cultural heritage thingy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems to be portrayed in a slightly different way.
Yeah.
With these games and all. Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels like the more we talk about it, the more I feel like, ugh, this has a bit of a. Yeah, it's literally the people who are. You can almost disconnected from the reality. It almost sounds good in theory.
Yeah.
Because the definition of budget meal is $3.50 or below, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it, I think if you ask anyone, generally a chicken rice now you pay $5-6 is the norm already.
Yeah.
So everything has been increasing, but the budget thing $3.50, that feels like a. Honestly, now you eat $3.50 at hawker center is quite rare, right?
Yeah, you can barely get anything. Yeah.
Yeah, so that means the hawker really is depressing their own prices to meet this requirement. And if they give less food, you can imagine, again, kena backlash.
Yeah.
How can this be like a budget meal or stuff like that?
Yeah.
So it just feels, something off about this. The more we talk about it.
I think you're right, it just feels very disconnected from reality on the ground of what people are talking about, rising prices and everything.
Yeah.
Although When I see a lot of Reddit posts, for example, about people complaining about how their hawker food is very expensive now and all. How do you feel about that? When you see, regular people.
I think like we have to accept that the prices are going to go up, lah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Whenever I see that, I'm like, I don't deep dive into it, but I feel like okay, then there's a expectation versus reality, lah.
Yeah.
That a meal at a hawker, how can it cost $8? But that has to be kind of like the norm, for you.
Yeah, can we blame those families of all these hawkers, the children, for not wanting to take over their parents' business? It's such a low margin, such a tough business to survive, right, in Singapore. And even just raising the prices by like 50 cents or something, you get a big backlash and all already. So it's like how to see yourself, doing it as a career, like how their those first generation hawkers did, right?
Yeah.
So it's just we can't have our cake and eat it at the same time, right? If we want to at least like keep this hawker tradition alive, then we also got to accept that prices going up and everything, the cost of everything is going up, and same for hawkers. They're also being squeezed. It's not entirely their fault, right?
Yeah. So I don't know. It just feels like, especially like what you said, like in the context of everything, right? Because in some way, can you imagine if like the basic hawker price for a meal was back to the 1,000 most expensive meals in Singapore and discounted a bit? It would be seen as fucking ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
This is almost like at the other extreme. Like everything is going up, but you know what? The hawker price needs to be kept as low as possible, regardless of what is happening.
Yeah.
And it's almost back to like the lowest cost meals in Singapore.
Yeah.
And there's a percentage or a multiplier of that, lah. So just like last week when you were talking about I know it's almost two different worlds, but just looking at it, you're like, something a bit off here, lah.
Correct. So if they want to just do that to make sure that hawkers provide the essential service of feeding people on a budget, then is this kind of initiatives where it's almost like celebrating that aspect of it just feels strange, feels out of place, feels a bit tone deaf.
Yeah, and unless you mandate every restaurant to have budget option.
Every restaurant.
You have like what? Odette, that's the Michelin thing. Okay, it's $300 for your omakase. But if you want $350,
what can you get for $350?
You get 2 pieces of caviar and 1 grain of rice.
But it needs to be a full meal. Yeah.
It needs to be a full meal.
Same you go Hai Di Lao, so you need to have a $350 option. What do you get? You get a little soup in a cup or something.
I think Hai Di Lao is still $350 maybe. Because the sauces are all free, right? So it's one big bowl of sauce and like rice, $350. But then it feels, okay, then you're talking about feeding everyone. But this one, again, it feels like, okay, it's only for the people who typically eat at hawker centers because they cannot afford restaurants. We will give you budget. For the people who eat in restaurants, never mind, you go spend whatever you want. So yeah, just the optics, man.
As Pritam says, 2 Singapores, right?
2 Singapores. Exactly, 2 Singapores. And the Crowd Task SG, we were just praising like some of the stuff GovTech has done before, right? Like the parking.sg and all. This platform, it sounds great, any government agency, you want to crowdsource stuff, sure. And there are many ways to crowdsource good stuff. But this one, it almost feels like, fuck man, it's gamifying something that it's not to be celebrated, I think.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. It's with the squeeze and everyone feeling the pain of inflation and all that. This one feels a bit, like what you said, it's a bit too much of a celebration of we have these budget options.
Budget meals,
these budget meals. Why are you complaining about not being hungry? There's still all
we
these
got
budget
1,600 meals that you can have across 410 coffee shops in Singapore, and you still say Singapore is expensive.
So it's really up to you. Do you want to eat in a hawker center? Coffee shop or restaurant? Was it those 3 options?
I think those 3.
But that's it. Like, is there anything that you think could be crowdsourced that wouldn't have like a backlash like this, right? For me, one thing is like a lot of times when I meet other young parents and all, one of the things we talk about is like, what can you like go out and do with your kid that is entertaining, that doesn't cost like astronomical amounts of money to do. Like I was just at the aquarium over the weekend and all. Cost me $88, man. Like just for 2 parents to go in together. $88 just to go to the aquarium. Of course, it's nice and all, but it's quite a lot to swallow, right? Just to go out with your kid for like a few hours. So I mean, when I meet other parents, we talk a lot about options of like, what can you do for cheap or for free with your child that can entertain them for a few hours, there isn't anything hedonistic lah, like screen time, watching a TV or video or things like that lah, right? So yeah, the things like that could be very useful.
But then, Terence, our economy, tourism is a big part of it. So we cannot celebrate the low-cost recreational activities. Because if you do that, the economy will not grow. Cannot.
But I mean, I will argue that, let's say you go to a park. Usually going to a park is free, right? After the park, you can go and have a drink, you can go and have a coffee, all that. You bring more footfall to the parks and all. That's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I totally agree. So we bored parent go where?
Yeah. Entertain children go where?
Entertain children go where?
Yeah. Because going to the zoo, going to the aquarium, all these places not cheap, man. Really expensive now.
Yeah. I mean, I never had to think about this. So I don't have anything off the top of my head.
But I mean, don't you and your wife last time for like dates and stuff like that? Don't you have like somewhere where you write down all the things? Pak Togo. Yeah, exactly. That's a great option. Pak Togo. Yeah, why don't you all do that for encourage our young people to procreate by like doing other things? Don't put down like this void deck very very
this stairwell between the 7th and the 8th floor. The stairs, right? Fucking clean.
Yeah, secluded. The angle is just nice. Nobody can see.
Yeah, that's why it gets very quiet and all.
It sounds like a porno, like a
no, but honestly, one dating that would actually be helpful.
Helpful to do what?
I mean, to figure out where to go and like plan the privacy, especially like back when I was staying with the family home and all. Like you need to manufacture all this outside, right? But I can't imagine that being a government agency. But actually, they say for government agencies to use crowd tasks, isn't there like, I know SDU doesn't fall
MSF lah, MSF, yeah.
MSF, yeah. Yeah, Pak Togo. Then so stuff like that.
Budget option. Budget Pak Togo.
Yeah, because birth rate, right? We need birth rate. We need more budget Pak Togo.
And young people they're not going out as much. They're not like they're not as keen to have like kids and things like that, right? As older generation. So I think it's important, man, to like keep people entertained and make sure they know that sometimes you don't have to spend a lot of money just because you want to go dating and all that.
Yeah. And even like, I mean, there can still be something about hawkers, but maybe celebrating the parts of them that I would imagine they don't like. You have a crowdsourcing where it's just like the hawker with a story or something like that. There's something very unique about this hawker that is not just about the food. There's the whole culture behind that stall.
I think during COVID, that period,
correct.
There was all these Facebook groups about supporting the hawkers, right? United or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it was like telling people where you could order from, to support this hawker who's struggling during COVID.
And giving a bit of their story about what the hawker is and all.
What they offer and how they transition to, from selling in person to takeaway and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Then you elevate the almost the dignity of the hawker. Because right now, hawker go, if you enter your postal code, it just comes up Block 151 Bedok Reservoir Road, Tong Yuan Coffee Shop, 1 curry chicken, 350. Then it almost feels like the hawker is almost like this vending machine that is soulless. You just go there and get your chicken rice.
Yeah.
But as Humans of New York has done for people of New York, I'm surprised maybe there should be something like a repository where every hawker stall has the story behind it. And you want to celebrate our hawker culture, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Then it feels like something like people, hey, fuck, I did this, this guy, it's such a sweet, the 2 kids have taken over the family business and they're doing some cool stuff with Wantan Mee, which I've seen before.
Yeah.
So crowdsource that kind of stuff.
Yeah, maybe marry our earlier 2 ideas, like about best hawker stores to Pak To.
Wow, go where, Best hawker stores to Pak To.
Yeah.
哇，老伟 that one confirmed 10 will use.
Because I think different hawker centers or different stores, different types of
cool
food.
Shit, right?
And they affect your experience of going on a date to a hawker center. Or even you could take away and sit down somewhere and eat, right?
Yeah, and whenever you bring someone to a hawker stall and you eat the food and they enjoy it, wow, you feel like a champion, man.
And you save money as well.
So budget Pak Tor, best hawker experience for budget Pak Tor GoWhere.
Yeah.
okay, can. So GovTech, you know what's your next task, man.
That was our budget recommendation for you. Basically. Free of charge. Consultation.
Free of charge.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man.
What is your one Shiok comment of the week? Of the last few days?
My one Shiok comment is finally I think we can give the results of the poll.
Okay.
Because it closed like literally 9 minutes ago. We are recording this Wednesday around noon. And the poll set up by Majestic Economists 5 days ago, asking do you think there is any chance that minister's salary will go down? Do you agree with Terence that there is absolutely no chance that the ministers will take a pay cut? Or do you agree with Harish that we can give them the benefit of the doubt that there's a possibility they might? So the results of the survey, 172 votes, 148 said no way, 0% chance that ministers' salaries will go down. And 24 people said there is a chance, even if very low, that the ministerial salaries will go down. So 148 against 124. So that's about
148 against 124.
Oh, 24.
24, yeah.
So about 86% anecdotally. So all I can say is it is not a 1 in 100 thing. That's the main thing I want to hammer home.
It's a very small pool. And I think mine, because non-zero means is a much wider amount, right? And me, I'm just saying zero. It's just one figure.
Correct.
Yours is like anything above zero, then you got voted. Yeah.
But basically, what you were saying, if I recall, you're like, if you ask 100 people, only one person might think. And I also want to clarify that it's just the initial thought. Whether or not that's the end conclusion, that's a different thing. But you were very adamant that I'm way off and it's a 1 in 100 thing. So I know this is a small pool, but
I would still say 86% is an overwhelming majority.
Still. My main thing was it is not a 1 in 100 thing. You made a call to our lovely audience to do a poll. The results have come in. So Terence, just accept.
It's an overwhelming majority.
No, it doesn't matter. Okay.
I think it cannot be too fixated on the semantics of what our discussion is.
It's all about the semantics.
There's like zero chance. What I'm saying is that there's an overwhelming majority.
No. You literally say you go and ask 100 people and you'll be the only one. I remember that, Terence.
Small pool.
162 people, 172 people were asked.
Trump won 51% of votes in Iowa. Terence. And people said overwhelmingly ran away with
Terence,
it. This 86%.
If you didn't say you go and ask 100 people, you're the only one, it'll be totally fine.
Okay.
Then I will accept, overwhelming majority. But I'm just saying that when you throw out stats like that, you be ready to back it up.
Yeah. No, so I think it's good. People came out and did it. So I stand corrected that it's only 86%.
That's all I needed to hear.
Small amount.
I stand corrected. Just some acknowledgement that you threw out something that was a hyperbole.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Terence.
I learned from the best to do it. 86%, small number. Yeah.
Small number still. Correct. All right. What about you, man?
I think our last podcast about the EasyLink Simply Go transition triggered a lot of people on YouTube as well. So someone did say, Monster1404 did say, I'm still using the old EasyLink card. We'll update 2 weeks before Simply Go is enforced. And I pay about 30% of my recurring bills in cash, queuing up at counters old school. It's become part of the lifestyle. Not going to change it anytime soon. That made me think it's true that sometimes it's not necessarily about convenience for certain things. Sometimes people stick to things because it's just part of their lifestyle, right? The rhythm of things they do, going to a counter, queuing up, and whether it's an AXS machine and all that, because it maybe just gets them out of the house, gets them. It's on their way to doing something, and they're just so used to the cadence of doing it like every week or something that they wouldn't want it any other way, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that we didn't talk about. I think people just prefer the old ways of doing things now, right?
Yeah. I saw one thing on another thread where someone was saying that I think her father has access to the Simply Go, or like the father pays for the easy link last time, but then now because upgrade to Simply Go, the father pays for so the father can see track her movement, what time she take bus, you know. And it just feels like, oh shit, that's another thing that you don't think about, you know.
Privacy.
So privacy. Cool. And what about your one Shiok thing, man?
My one Shiok thing is kind of like doubling down on I think that previously I talked about the Japanese band Atarashi Gakko and the collab they did with a YouTuber that I thought was pretty awesome. But actually, like, just really been enjoying the music for the last month or something, you know, and it's really quite something lah. I feel that when I listen to the music, a lot of it I'm very unfamiliar with it, but it really brings me that feeling of like discovering a band that really makes you excited as a young person again, which is harder and harder to do as you get older.
Yeah,
because you know we literally, our brains are literally hardwired to like listen to a certain type of music up to a certain age, and then we kind of stick to that sound for the rest of our lives, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's certain things that your brain just, or at least your musical tastes are sort of ingrained in you up to your, like, I think 30s or something like that lah. You know, so to discover a band that, you know, so young and so different, and the kinds of music that they do is so eclectic and so many, spans a lot of different genres. You know, I think it's a cross between, I would say, Beastie Boys, Jamiroquai, and baby metal, a lot of different genres. So yeah, it's been really, really like something to really sink into lah. The whole thing, and not feel like very out of touch with society. Like, why young people listen to this shit these days? It's like, you know, someone in their 40s can also say, hey, this is very, very interesting.
Because I was just thinking along the lines of what you said that day about how it is so difficult to stand out as an artist now. You know, like, you break out. What does it mean to break out? It's almost like you break out amongst your niche. But yeah, discovering someone who's like, oh fuck, like blows your mind. I still haven't checked them out. I will
check it out. So that's why this is my one Shiok thing, to double down on that.
Cool. My one Shiok thing is, after Singles Inferno, I was looking for the next show to watch in parallel with like Band of Brothers, and I thought, okay, let me do something a bit more chill. And a show I've been wanting to watch for a long time is Life on Our Planet on Netflix. So it is Netflix original. It is narrated. It's one of those documentary things, but it goes back to the early life of early history of life on our planet. Focusing on like a bit on the super early part where it was just cells, but more about like reptiles and amphibians and dinosaurs and mammals and how that coexisted. So the CGI is so damn impressive that sometimes when they cut to actual footage, it's hard to tell them apart.
Okay.
Which I think adds to it, but it's just something that you look at it, you see the saber-toothed tiger, you see like these 2-meter birds, and it's like a modern day documentary except set in prehistoric times. And I watched one episode so far, I'm like, oh shit, this is just a very cool thing to watch and be like, oh fuck. Just imagine what life was like back then, where no cities, just nature everywhere. And narrated by Morgan Freeman. So it's a easy watch. So I like it. I like it a lot.
What budget meals do you think they ate back in the day? Like those days?
I think the grass I think the dinosaurs, that's what their call was, right? You know, the diplodocus, they eat some cheap grass and they call, then all the diplodocuses come.
Budget grass go where?
Budget grass go where? Budget grass go where, exactly.
So Band of Brothers, boring. Like, you have to watch simultaneously.
Yeah, I have to watch simultaneously. It's not a show where I finish one episode, I'm dying for the next.
Oh, really?
I want to finish it because I really enjoy it every time I watch it, but it's a bit heavy sometimes.
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's a bit heavy. So just like have to alternate.
I see.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thanks for listening, everybody. And remember to follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, social media. And if you want to work with us, where should they email, Terrence?
Contact@ministryoffunny.com.
Hell yeah, man. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.